is the first time I've used the mic today. I've just been relying on my lung capacity. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I hope you've all managed to find a seat. We tried to make it so that normally we... but I didn't want you guys to, in this heat, to be too close to one another, so I tried to spread it out a little bit. Thank you so much, all of you. Massive thank you first. And I just think let's start this event with a little bit of a round of applause for all of the students who have worked so hard throughout the day. So let's have it up for all the students. So just to give you a bit of context, those of you who haven't been here throughout the day, the students have been doing round after round of mini rounds to get to this finalist point. We have had, I think, about 20 dramatic readers. We've had about 20 speeches. We've had about 15 poetry recitals. And each of the 5 trust schools were inundated with desperate pleas to be part of the debate. And so each school was represented by 2 teams each. And all of the mini rounds were filtered down through a lot of hard work and into the finalists that we have performing for you tonight. So it's been a really, really exciting. I've just been in awe of all of the students today. I think it's been a really hard couple of years. So I just think really well done for all of the hard work they put into it. But without further ado, I am going to pass this mic over to Mr. Tim Gilson, CEO of Athelstan Trust.
Thank you very much. And the first really big thank you is to Susie Pincock, who's organised this. Teachers have very, very short-term memories, and every year we imagine that July will be an oasis of calm and quiet, and we'll have lost our year 13s and year 11s, and there'll be so much time to do all the clever things that we want to do. So you start planning in January and thinking it'll be fine by then because we'll be through the exams. And actually to put an event like this on has taken months of planning, and the staff from all of the schools who've brought the students here and have been preparing them and working with them for months are now absolutely dead on their feet thinking, why on earth did we forget how tired we are in July? So I really appreciate the immense hard work that Susie's put into organising this. The first time we've done this across the Trust, and what an incredibly important thing it is for us to be doing. So thank you very much to the parents who've joined us. It's perhaps just worth saying something about the Athelstan Trust. So we have 5 schools in the Trust, a team from each of the schools. There's been several teams here during the day, but a team from each of the schools in the final here. We've obviously got Malmesbury School, who kindly hosted us here today. We've got the Dean Academy over in the Forest of Dean in Gloucestershire. We've got Sir William Romney's just up the road in Tetbury. We've got Braden Forest School just over to the east in Purton, and Chipping Sodbury School, which is in Chipping Sodbury. I always feel that's slightly superfluous, but I feel the need to say it anyway. So 5 schools in the Trust and really strong teams here from all of those schools. And the students have been working very hard on a really hot day when they are pretty tired as well. So they have done an exceptional job. It is so important for you students that have done this to develop the confidence and skill and bravery that you're demonstrating coming here today to stand up in front of an audience and speak. It is such an incredibly important life skill. We do a lot about reading and all the other skills to do with English, and obviously you've got all your other subjects, but speaking skills are hugely important. They'll stand you in very good stead in any role that you find yourself doing in later life. And it's nice just to think about King Athelstan. And Athelstan, obviously the first king of all England, buried down there in Malmesbury Abbey, just in the town. Well, Athelstan, as well as being a king in England, was a very significant diplomat who married off a number of his family members to other kings in Europe and built the relationships between England and what is now the rest of Europe, relations which are obviously still hugely important to us. And he would have needed to exercise all of his skills in public speaking and in diplomacy to achieve what he did. So I can't promise that any of you are going to be kings of England. I think it's quite unlikely. I think we'd know. But there's incredible roles out there for you that will draw on the skills that you're showing today. So thank you very much for coming and making this such a special occasion. I'm going to hand over now to Michelle Kilburn-Bond, who has helped Susie coordinate this and is going to introduce our wonderful panel of judges. Michelle.
Thank you. I can say all you students really are brave, because I was standing here and I had a little bit of a flutter in my tummy because you all look really scary from up here. So yes, good luck everybody. Now I've got the great privilege of introducing the judging panel, who have given up their time, been really generous to support the event, and we've got some celebrity judges, which is really, really exciting. But the thing that links all of our judges is that they all believe really passionately in the power of the spoken voice. And like Tim was just saying, your spoken voice is so underrated, yet no matter what you end up doing in your life, you absolutely will need to speak and communicate and convince people of your point of view and argue. So there is nothing more important than you being right here today, right now, and giving this a go. So let's introduce our judges. I'm actually going to start at the bottom of the list because I'm not a celebrity. So I'll introduce myself first and then we'll get more exciting. So I'm Michelle Kilburn-Bond. I'm one of the school improvement leads for the Athelstan Trust. So I have the great joy of... Hello. I'm also an English teacher at heart. So I have spent my career teaching students to really believe in talking and communicating and just loving words and language. Let's go back to the top of the list. We've got Mark Cummings. Mark, would you like to stand up and give everyone a wave for us? So many people across Gloucestershire wake up to the sound of Mark's voice. So his voice is one of the most powerful, important voices in our area because he is a breakfast radio DJ for Radio Gloucestershire, BBC Radio Gloucestershire. So that is amazing that we've got an actual real-life DJ who spends every morning trying to entertain people using nothing but his voice, which is absolutely just such a talent I'm very envious of. So he uses language to entertain, to investigate, to inform all the things that you've been practicing today. So thank you very much, Mark. And then we move on to Sophie Scruton. Sophie, would you mind giving everyone a wave, please? So a big thank you to Sophie, who's actually one of the trustees for the Athelstan Trust. And what that means is she really generously gives up her time to go to lots of very long, important meetings. In fact, she's in one later, in which what she's doing is challenging decisions that are being made by the Athelstan Trust and making sure that every single thing that happens is in the best interest of every single school that's represented here today. So she uses language in that context to question, to interrogate, to challenge, to praise, to make sure that she's genuinely, along with those other people, really interested in what's happening. And she asked Tim, as our CEO, to use language to really explain that the decisions that he's making are fair and holding on to our values at the Athelstan Trust. But she's a lot more than that too. So she's got a very interesting life history, but one of the things that she really champions is just education generally, and obviously that's why we're all here. So Sophie has her own farm and a foundation through which she runs educational summer schools, so really believing in championing education and young people and improving your lives is really close to her heart. So thank you, Sophie. Tom, no pressure, but you're going last, so would you like to give everyone a wave? So this is Tom Herbert, who I've seen on the actual television as one of the Baker brothers. So Tom is a baker and linked to the Hobbs House Bakery, which is a really local business I'm sure lots of you have given your money to in the past. I'm a big fan of the Schurston loaf, I need to say. I spend way too much of my wages on a Schurston loaf. And so, as an ex-TV presenter, as a baker who runs lots of cookery schools, then what Tom is really expert in doing is using language to inform, to educate, but also to entertain as well. So he's been in front of cameras, he's been in a kitchen trying to get people to engage and follow instructions clearly. So what you can see is out of all of these 4 judges, we've got, hopefully, people who are really going to be able to listen and give you some really positive feedback and make some very fair, impartial decisions. It's going to be so, so difficult about who goes home. I don't know if you can see from the back, but with the trophies that are at the back here. So really exciting evening ahead. But we've got a massive surprise that Susie and I have tried to keep really quiet from most people in the audience. So before we actually get stuck into these performances, some of you might have seen Harry Baker before. So have a look at his face. He's the youngest ever Poetry World Slam champion in 2012. Amazing. He's also a maths graduate, so he's absolutely amazing at things that we might think happen in an English classroom, but actually, he's a mathematician, and it just shows you, don't pigeonhole yourself into thinking, I am good at maths and not English, or I'm good at geography and not another subject. You can be all of these things all at once. And he's also now a full-time poet. Now, he's a friend of the Athelstan Trust. He gave a really amazing workshop with Year 7 students last year, and I will quietly reveal now that he's coming back next year to work with us again. And he has recorded, especially for you, a message that is not being shown to anyone else. He absolutely recorded it for every single student in this room. So I will stop talking and let you enjoy his message. Try not to cry, because when I first watched it, I had a little tear.
Hello, my name is Harry Baker, and I wanted to wish everyone tonight the best of luck in their performances, and to let everyone in the audience know that you're in for a treat. To the performers, remember to take a deep breath, plant your feet on the stage, and enjoy it. You've done the hard work to get this far. Words are such powerful things, and I think when we put ourselves in them, when we share them with other people, when we're vulnerable, when we're open, then we can open up whole new worlds. So I'm so excited for all of you. I hope you have the best time, and I will get to see some of you in person before too long.
Okay, a very exciting start to the evening. Can I please first, we're going to start with dramatic reading. Can I invite the dramatic reading finalists to take a seat to the side of the stage? And we'll invite you up one by one. So that is Kai Davies, Edie Layfield, Alice Cole and Bertie Clare. Okay, Kai Davies, do you want to come up first? Let me make sure the stand is at your height. Is that good?
Hello, everybody. Jesus Christ. Hello, everyone. My name is Kai Davis, and today I am reading a book called The Diary of the Wimpy Kid, Roderick Rules. Well, a part of it anyway. This is my favourite of the series because it includes the most stories of Roderick, the main, big, mean punk brother of Gregory, the main character. In this extract, Gregory hopes there will be a big snowstorm that eventually will become nothing, actually. So foolishly, he chooses Roderick to buy. No, he buys his brother's old paper. So I'm going to start now. Tuesday. My big history paper is due tomorrow, and they've been saying it's going to grow about a foot high tonight. So I haven't really been sweating all that much. But around 10 p.m., I peeked out the window to check how many inches of snow were on the ground so far, but I couldn't believe my eyes. I pulled back the curtain, and there wasn't even a drop of snow on the floor. Oh man, I was counting on some snow, so school would be cancelled tomorrow. I turned on the news to see what had happened, but this weather guy was telling a totally different story. That it was about 3 hours ago. That meant I had to get crackling on my history paper. The problem was, it was too late to go to the library, and we didn't have any books in the house for about the 20th century. So, I had to think of something quick. Then, I had a great idea. Dad has bailed Roderick 1,000,000 times on his school papers, so I figured out he could help me too. I told Dad about my situation, thinking he would jump right in and help. But I guess Dad has learned his lesson in the department, as he told me it was my own fault. I need to jog on. Roderick must have heard me talking to Dad because he whispered to me to follow him downstairs. You know Roderick had Mr. Huff, my history teacher, in middle school? Well, it turns out Mr. Huff gave Roderick's class the exact same assignment when I was in his grade. Roderick dug around his junk drawer and found his old paper, and then he told me he would sell it for me for $5. I told him there was no way I would buy that. I'll admit, I was pretty tempted, because number one thing, since if all of Roderick's assignments have gone through Dad, I knew Roderick would have gotten a good grade on his paper. And number two, it was in one of those plastic binders what the teachers go crazy for. But I couldn't do it. I mean, I've copied from people's papers and quizzes before, but buying a paper from someone is taking it to a whole new level. So, I decided I was going to have to suck it up and do my paper myself. I started doing some research on the computer, but about midnight, the worst possible thing happened. The power went out. That's when I knew I was in serious trouble. I knew I would flunk history if I didn't turn in the paper, so eventually I had to do it. I decided to take Roderick up on his offer, but he didn't let me off that easily. He told me the price had gone up by $10. At that point, I was really desperate, so I handed in the money, and Roderick gave me his old paper. I felt really bad about it, but I had to do it because I didn't want to flunk history. Wednesday. On the bus ride to school, I took Roderick's paper out of my bag, but I took one look at it, and I knew something was seriously wrong. It was in his handwriting, and it wasn't typed out, which Dad would usually do. That's when it hit me. Dad had only started doing Roderick's papers for him once he got to high school, so this meant the paper was all Roderick's own work. I started reading Roderick's paper to see if I could use it, but apparently he was even worse at doing his research than me, which is very shocking. At the bottom of the paper, there was a large F written in massive red letters. I paid $10 for that paper, and it went to waste, and it's still going to make me flunk my history. I guess in this moment, I learned my lesson and about buying a paper from someone else, or at least buying it from Roderick.
Well done, Kai. Okay, Edie, do you want to come up to the stage?
I'm Edie from SWR, and today I'm going to share with you the story of Balkisa Jaibor. Once there was a girl who wanted to become a doctor. Her name was Balkisa, and she was really good at school. One day, she discovered that her uncle had promised her in marriage to one of her cousins. Balkisa was horrified. "You can't force me to get married. I want to become a doctor." Unfortunately, the country where Balkisa lived allowed parents to arrange weddings for their daughters when they're still children. "Just let me stay in school 5 more years," Balkisa begged her parents. Her parents agreed to postpone the marriage, but after 5 years, Balkisa's love of learning had only grown stronger. The night before her wedding, she escaped from her house and ran to the nearest police station to ask for help. She decided to challenge her uncle in court. She was terrified this might turn her whole family against her, but her mother quietly encouraged her to keep fighting. The judge agreed with Balkisa, and when her uncle threatened her, he was forced to leave the country. "The day I won that case, I put my school uniform back on. I felt my life was renewed," she says. Today, Balkisa is at university studying hard to become a doctor. She also campaigns for other young girls to follow her example and say no to forced marriage. She visits schools and speaks to tribal chiefs about the issue. Study with all your might. It's not easy, but it's your only hope, she says. Balkisa Jaibo, an activist born in Niger, 1995.
Well done, Edie. Okay, Alice, do you want to come up?
Hello, I'm Alice Cole and I'm from Malmesbury School and I'm going to be reading James and the Giant Peach by Roald Dahl. 1 second later, slowly, insidiously, almost gently, the great peach started to lean forward and steal into motion. The whole room began to tilt over and all the furniture went sliding across the floor and crashed against the far wall. So did James and the ladybird and the old green grasshopper and Miss Spider, and the earthworm, and also the centipede, who just come slithering quickly down the wall. Outside in the garden, at that very moment, Aunt Sponge and Aunt Spiker had just taken their places at the front gate, each with a bunch of tickets in her hand, and the first stream of early morning sightseers was visible in the distance, climbing up the hill to view the peach. "We shall make a fortune today," Aunt Spiker was saying. "Just look at all those people." "I wonder what became of that horrid little boy of ours last night," Aunt Sponge said. "He never did come back in, did he?" "He probably fell down in the dark and broke his leg," Aunt Spiker said. "Or his neck, maybe," Aunt Sponge said hopefully. "Just wait till I get my hands on him," Aunt Spiker said, waving her cane. "He'll never want to stay out all night again by the time I've finished with him. Good gracious me, what's that awful noise?" Both women swung round to look. The noise, of course, had been caused by the giant peach crashing through the fence that surrounded it, and now, gathering speed every second, it came rolling across the garden towards the place where Aunt Sponge and Aunt Spiker were standing. They gaped, they screamed, they started to run. They panicked, they both got in each other's way. They began pushing and jostling, and each one of them was only thinking about saving herself. Aunt Sponge, the fat one, tripped over a box that she'd brought along to keep the money in. Aunt Spiker immediately tripped over Aunt Sponge and came down on top of her. They both lay on the ground, fighting and clawing and yelling and struggling frantically to get up again. But before they could do this, the mighty peach was upon them. There was a crunch, and then there was silence. The peach rolled on, and behind it, Aunt Sponge and Aunt Spiker lay ironed out upon the grass as flat and thin and lifeless as a couple of paper dolls cut out of a picture book.
Last but certainly not least is Bertie Clear.
Hi, I'm Bertie, and I'm going to be reading If This Is a Man by Primo Levi. You, who live safe in your warm houses, you, who find returning in the evening hot food and friendly faces, consider if this is a man who knows no peace, who works in the mud, who dies because of a yes and because of a no. Consider if this is a woman, without hair, without name, without strength to remember, her vacant eyes and cold room like a frog in winter. Mediate this that came about. I commend these words to you. Inscribe them on your heart, at home, in the street, going to bed, rising. Repeat them to your children. Or may your house fall down. May your children turn their faces from you, and may illness impede you.
Well done. Thank you so much. Thank you so much to our first category. It's always so difficult being the first ones to go, but I'm going to pass the mic, I believe, to Mark, who's going to say a few words about that category.
I haven't finished marking yet. It's so brave of you to go up on stage, you know. And it's all about the environment you're in, because I do a breakfast show, and I know loads of people in radio who would be terrified to do that. because they feel comfortable in a radio studio, and they would find it really hard to engage with a whole group of people. I'm really, really nervous right now because of this hall, because my 2 daughters came through this school, and this reminds me of watching them on stage and getting nervous, but even more so going to parents' evening. Oh, the parents' evenings we've had in this building, and that awful sense of disappointment driving home from a parents' evening when your children tell you off for correcting their teacher's grammar during the thing. I won't mention it, but I once counted one teacher saying the word like 56 times. We'll just say the word geography. But so it's really difficult, and I thought that was so brave, and I just thought so much expression, so much bravery, so much courage to go up, to follow and understand those stories. Who was the first one? Was it Kai? You could be a stand-up comedian. What you did before you even started was hilarious, and I love the leg movement. That was fantastic. The expression, the eye contact, and the delivery, I just think it's a really good start, and I think you should give everyone else confidence when you go up and do what you do. So I think those 4 deserve a massive round of applause, don't you?
Okay, you will also notice that that category had 4 candidates. The other categories will have 3. We just found it so difficult to narrow the dramatic reading down to 3 that we thought we'd squeeze an extra one in. However, these are the 3 finalists for the poetry recitals. I'm going to invite them to sit over on the side, ready to come back onto the stage. And we're going to be starting with Isabel Cooper-Seaman. Do you want to come straight up?
I tried to do my homework, but a show was on TV, a song was on the radio, and a friend was texting me. My email chimed, and so, well, of course, I had to look at that. It linked me to some video, someone's silly cat. Oh, I watched a dozen videos. Well, and then I played a game. I almost didn't hear her when my mother called my name. I looked up at the clock, and it was time to go to bed. Oh, I didn't get my homework done, just other stuff instead. Oh, I hope my teacher listens to the cause of my inaction. It's really not my fault. The world is just one big distraction.
Well done, Isabel. Right, Lucy, do you want to come on up?
Dad's Hiding in the Shed by John Foster. Dad's hiding in the shed, and he's made me swear not to tell Mum that he's hiding in there. She was having a lie down with the curtains drawn. We were playing cricket out on the lawn. I bowled the next ball as fast as I could. Dad tried it again, as I knew he would, but he missed, and the ball struck him hard on the toe. He cried out in pain, and as he did so, he let go of the bat. It flew up in an arc and crashed through the window where Mum lay in the dark. Dad's hiding in the shed, and he's made me swear not to tell Mum that he's hiding in there.
Well done, Lucy. And last but certainly not least is Freya.
The Ghost in the Garden by Burley Doherty. The ghost in the garden cracks twigs as she treads, shuffles the leaves, but isn't there. The ghost in the garden snaps back the brambles so they spring against my legs, but isn't there. Draws spider's webs across my face, breathes mist on my cheek, whispers with bird breath down my ear, but isn't there. Tosses raindrops down from branches, splashes the pond, traces a face in it that isn't mine, moves shadows underneath the trees, too tall, too thin, too tiny to be me, spreads bindweed out to catch me, flutters wild wings above my head, tugs at my hair, but isn't there. And when I look, there's only the bend of grass, where her running feet have smudged the dew, and there's only the sigh of her laughter, trickling like moonlight on wet weeds.
So massive well done to all three of you. It was very entertaining and creatively delivered. Thanks.
Okay, speech round. Can I please have Sophia, Eli, and Nathan to the side? First up, we're going to have Sophia. Sophia Bond, you want to come straight up?
Hello everybody, my name is Sophia Bond and my topic is bread. Wait, before you make an opinion, I'll admit, my speech isn't world-changing, but I will promise you it will be eye-opening. And you might never look at ordinary objects the same again. I bet that nearly all of you here have had bread at least once in your lifetime, or maybe this week, or maybe this morning for your breakfast. But do you really know where it comes from and how many lives it's changed? Although we can't be certain of bread's origin, we do know that it is around 14,000 years old. That's when the first stone buildings started to appear. And from there out, bread has continued to affect history. Without bread, civilization wouldn't be what it is today. And that's not too surprising if you take in the fact that bread is the first food that wasn't gotten through foraging and hunting. Some of the ways it's affected the world is through the French Revolution, Marie Antoinette even stating, if they can't eat bread, let them eat cake. Slavery in Egypt, where they are fed with bread and beer, and countless wars. One thing all these events have in common is that they show the importance of bread and how much the human race has come to rely on bread to feed the masses and for it to go with any meal or dish. This is even represented in the Bible when Jesus uses to feed thousands, 5 loaves of bread and 2 fishes. Despite this, some of you still might be thinking, but I don't like bread, or bread's boring. But I believe that there is a type of bread for everyone. There are hundreds, more than 100 types of bread. Some of them going from the normal everyday multigrain, grain and white bread to baguettes from France, crumpets from the UK, pathitha from India, and bagels from Poland. And they can come in all different types of flavors, sweet, savory, spicy, and even salty. I don't bet you know much foods that can be all that. So I hope after you hear this speech, that you'll realize that just looking around this room, every single thing in it has so much rich history about where it's come from, who made it, why they made it, and what it's done to help our world. So I hope after this speech, you'll realize that every little, medium, and big thing is a puzzle piece in the picture of our life. Thank you for listening to my speech. Also, bread's tasty. So.
I can't help feel that Sophia had a look at the lineup of the judges there. Tom was very impressed with the speech on bread. Okay, let's have Eli up. Come on up, Eli.
Wait, this thing actually works. Crazy. Hi, I'm Eli. I go to the Chipping Sodbury School, and my speech is also nothing life-changing. It's just about something that I think can affect schools in general and students' mental health and social lives. My point is about how most schools should actually have their phones, their smartphones. They should allow students them at break and lunch. I've got my phone here, so if it was on and I didn't have 2% charge, I'd set a timer, but let's get over that. My first point would be actually why people might disagree with my statement. So, at my school, one point is that phones make you a bit antisocial. You know, you're not as social with your phones. I can see Miss Turner over there, I think. Hello. I'm not trying to slander our school. And another point we came up with was that it discourages real-life opportunities by having your phone. And people can do inappropriate things with their phones, unfortunately, which could become like a hazard. But I want to prove to you today that the pros of phones outweigh the cons. So, my second point, that was my second point. How it benefits students' learning. So, you have lots of new technology for learning, such as Kahoot, and let's go into my 20-second Kahoot rundown. Kahoot's basically like quizzing / other things, platform that you can use on the internet and it benefits both students and teachers. It's very useful, and it can be accessed by your phone. Another thing is that if your school, say, had a WhatsApp group run by students, people could update you on an event happening, and you'd be able to check that on your phone at any time. And with Go for Schools, you can check what class you have. And you can also easily contact your friends if you want to meet up during school, instead of having to go search around for them. If you have friends, of course. Yes, this is technically a comedy. My third point would be that schools must not ignore technology. They should monitor it, but also embrace it. My suggestion would be to trial having your phones for a week or a day, or in a certain area, and see how that goes. And if it goes well, then schools could possibly have a debate about whether they could actually have the phones within school. Or even have another idea, which is phone privileges, where if you've been good, you haven't done anything bad, you can have your phone. But if you say you've gotten a detention or been disrupting the class, you can't have your phone. And my final point is, what real benefits does your phone have within school? So, one thing I'd like to mention is that there would be less trouble within school, as people could take a picture if there was a fight or someone stealing something during school, and that would therefore enforce someone not to do that, because there could be evidence of them with anyone. You could grow your social circles using your phone, because you can find people with the same interests on social media as you, and you could make friends. And learning can be accessed in new or different ways, as I said in Kahoot. I think that's at least maybe 3 minutes, I'm not really sure. Thank you for listening to me. Goodbye.
As a teacher who still hasn't figured out how to use Kahoot, I really am understanding the pressure that I am under. Well done. I'm sure we've got some headmasters in the audience taking notes. Last but certainly not least is, of course, Nathan.
Am I hearable? Oh, there you go. Hello, everyone. Thank you for coming today and listening to our speeches, dramatic readings, poems, and soon-to-come debates. My name is Nathan Selwood. I'm going to talk to you about the role of the entertainment industry, portraying images of famous people, and how that influences young people, and how they feel about their own body image. Have you realized that in the majority of television programs and movies, the lead characters are beautiful, skinny young ladies or strong, handsome, muscular men? Well, these images are on billboards, in magazines, on buses, and on posters. And since these images are plastered just everywhere, it can cause young people to think that that's how they should look, and feel disappointed if they don't measure up to the amazing standards of celebrities. At its worst, this could lead to eating disorder or taking steroids to gain muscle. And where there are average-looking people in programs or films, they tend to be the role of the best friend or the comic relief. Someone like Rebel Wilson or Kevin Hart are in big blockbuster movies but are stuck as a comedic side character, where someone like Dwayne Johnson gets to be the big, amazing hero of the story. Have you noticed Rebel Wilson's recent weight loss? Well, in the media, it's been portrayed as how much more beautiful she looks, rather than the health benefits of being in a weight range that's neither too skinny or too overweight. Right, we all like to look at beautiful images, don't we? Whether they be people, art, sculpture, or nature. But I think that it's the role of the entertainment industry and celebrities to show pictures with and without makeup, and to explain the importance of healthy eating and sensible exercise. A glimpse, however, of the industry showing this was in the film Avengers Endgame. Has anyone seen it? Well, the main character, or one of the main characters, Thor, who's normally strong, tall and muscly, was shown without his six-pack and strength, but still being the same person on the inside. Also, the very popular TV show at the moment, Stranger Things, has, I think, a very wide variety of characters for young people to associate with. The show features a vast range of lead actors with differing body shapes, sizes and imperfections that young people can identify with. And I think that more shows like this would help to balance the multitude of glamorous aspirational images shown on screen and help young people feel happier with accepting the reality of who they are and not who they think that they should be. Thank you for listening.
Well done, and thank you so much to all of the candidates from round one. We are going to have to give the judges some time to deliberate and discuss who is the winner and who is a finalist. And all people will be getting awards, so it's all grand. There is an interval. Can we please take a 10-minute break? There are some refreshments just outside if you need to nip to the loo. And if you could be back here at 25 past for the debate round. Okay, can I have everyone make their way back to their seats, please? Can I have the debate teams on the stage? Debate teams on the stage. Braden Forrest, that's where you are, over there. If we can have everyone in their seats. There is nothing like the smooth running of the first time you do an event like this. So I realised that I didn't get Sophie her time in the spotlight to comment on the speeches. So we're just going to take a moment to hear from Sophie on what she thought of the speeches.
Thank you. The speeches were wonderful. Congratulations to Sophia, Ellie and Nathan who came to speak to us. It was absolutely brilliant. The words were your own. The other words obviously had the benefit of being written for you, and so some of the meaning you were able to take from the authors. But all of you managed to show us something really interesting about your topic that none of us in the room had thought about. And all of you managed to make us feel as if you were talking to us individually in the audience directly and really making your case to each and every one of us, and that is so important, and it will be very important, I'm sure, during the debate that we're about to hear, when again students are going to have to be taking the audience with them when they speak. So that's what I thought you all did very well in your speeches. Well done. Thank you.
Okay, the debate. I have frozen the screen. Bear with me. We have on the stage the two winning teams of the tournament so far. Oh, this is... We have on the left-hand side Sir William Romney. We have Holly, Beatrix, Jack and Mason. And then on my right, we have Braden Forrest, Isabel, Jasmine, Isla and Evie. I'm going to need to invite a glamorous assistant here to do the timekeeping. Miss Caroline Evely is going to come up and make sure that they are staying on time and on track. Okay, do we have the first chairperson? Oh no, we need to flip the coin. We need to flip the coin. Do we have the coin? Bear with, this is going well. Okay. Let's just hide this. Can I pass the mic to you? I put a piece of paper in one of my hands. It's like a magician's show. I put a piece of paper in one of my hands, and I'm going to ask Team SWR to choose the hand. The hand that the paper is in will be the for argument. They will be arguing for the topic, social media, mental health, kill or cure. So, choose a hand. So William Romney will be arguing for social media, kill or cure, and Braden Forrest will be arguing against.
We live in an age of knowledge, and social media takes credit for a lot of that knowledge. We can learn practically anything we want through social media, and in general, can get an answer to any question we would need through social media in a matter of seconds. However, it does also have negative sides, but we can't forget about the helpful, uplifting, and positive aspects that social media grants. It also allows people to have a more diverse and more culturally understanding view of the world, as you can view other lifestyles and cultures online that you would never be able to experience in person.
Hi, I'd like to say thank you before I start, but my team and I believe social media is kill. Being socially connected to others can ease stress, anxiety, and depression, but these are all temporary. Social media has been proven to have a serious risk negatively on your body image, depression, anxiety, and more. Studies show spending more than 3 hours on social media gives you 32% higher risk of anxiety, a 42% higher risk of depression. So I ask you to ask yourself, is social media really the cure?
Social media has already benefited all of our lives, more than some might think. I think I speak for most of us here, if not all of us, that the past couple of years have been rough due to quarantine and the pandemic. Us as a generation have managed to push through this, keeping up our maintaining on our skills in studies, maintaining our relationships with our family and with our friends. How have we done this? Well, whether this is through a Zoom call with your school, maybe FaceTiming your friends playing a video game, or just Skyping doing a family game evening, we have all used social media to maintain crucial aspects with our lives while staying safe from the pandemic. Studies have proven that one of the most important parts to mental health is communication and socialising. Without social media, for most of us, this would have not been possible at all. As my teammate also said earlier, we have gained access to infinite knowledge and stuff that we've never been able to access in the past. We have been able to ask our devices a simple question and they will come up with millions of responses. On an average, 5.6 billion searches are made, asking questions that vary from medical issues, mathematic equations, or even just cute animal videos. The possibilities are endless.
When reviewing other people's social media activity, people tend to make comparisons such as, why didn't I get as many likes as somebody else? Or why didn't this person like my post? People are searching for validation on the internet that serves as a replacement for meaningful connections that they might otherwise make in real life. Social media is also incredibly damaging because you're exposed to immaturity, and because you have a massive platform, you can see a lot of immature things. Also, the sense of being anonymous drives people to be someone they're not, and younger people who spend time on social media have been proven to lack skill sets to see what's real and fake online.
Yep. Okay, so speaker threes, we're going to ask you to just respond to each other now, so listen to each other carefully. You're going to have a chance for any rebuttal. Okay, so if we start with Holly. Okay.
Do I talk into this? So because of, you've mentioned a lot of facts, but also some things which is almost stereotypical. Because negativity surrounding the word social media, people often forget the positives. It's an everyday tool, and in a world where knowledge is power, to have all the answers in the palm of your hand is an incredible privilege and has progressed our society throughout the ages. Platforms such as TikTok and Instagram are often spoken about in the news for negative reasons, and these often overlook the millions of people who have created a platform to share theirs and others' creativity. This has often given many people opportunities to form friendships. Social interaction isn't something that comes easy to many people. For those people, social media can be an escape and a way for them to connect with others like them. Now, this is not saying that communication with people in real life is not hugely important, but it is saying that throughout interaction on social media, people can gain the confidence and communication skills they need to help in our real life. Communication is not the only thing that's become easily accessible through social media. It is said that on average, people see 4,000 to 10,000 ads every day, causing our generation to be exposed to many smaller and larger businesses or even job opportunities.
Hello, and I totally agree with you with that. But you said about people normally forget the positivity in it. If it is so positive, why is it school's #1 priority for its safeguarding priority? Another thing you said was about talking to people and connecting with new friends. That could be a really good thing, and I do agree with you on that. But especially on things like Snapchat and TikTok, Instagram, people can fake their identity. So you may think you'll be talking to a 12-year-old girl, you can make best friends, but in real life they could be older and people who are looking for little girls for paedophilia, etc. And like I said, we do agree with that, but it's just...
Yeah, I completely understand where you're coming from, and social media is like, in some sense, can become a huge safeguarding issue, but that's the reason schools have introduced e-safety, and that's a crucial part of our curriculum, and I think in some sense that's made our social media lives a lot more safer if people have listened to that. So in some sense it's not the social media itself, it's the people behind it, the people who've chosen to sign up for those apps and have chosen to use them, chosen to respond to those messages.
So do you want to come back to that?
So, you said that it's the people behind social media and not social media's fault. Yes, you are true on that, but why haven't social media stopped those people coming in if they are going to be like that? Yes, they do have many moderators, filters that try to ban as many as they can, but people just slide through, and there are many people who are not who they say they are.
Okay, so last responses. Yes, please.
Yeah, there are huge issues within our algorithm, which honestly aren't the people's fault, it is the creators' fault. But in some sense, the creators are doing as much as they can with like the Are You a Robot things, which can be like bypassed very easily. But I think then it's down to the person themselves to have common sense, I'd say, to figure out, well, is this person who they say they are? Because there are certain things you can go through to find out, as I mentioned, in the curriculum. Those are brought up multiple times. So I'd say it's 50-50.
So you say people should be having common sense and saying, oh, well, these people aren't talking the way they are, they sound a bit dodgy, as they say. But some people are naive, can be vulnerable, obviously they can have mental health issues, which can bypass the way they feel. They could act completely normal like I do with my friends, but obviously some skeeving people can say that, like I said, say who they are and try to act exactly who they are when they might not be.
Thank you. You've done really well, both of you. We're going to pass it over to the judges now, who are going to ask you a question. So please write anything down you need to, and you'll have 1 minute to confer.
Okay, the judges, we have a question.
you've really pulled us into this debate and started a debate amongst ourselves, which I guess is one thing a good debate can do, get everyone talking. Thanks so much. Great job so far, but we do have a question for you. We want to hear a little bit more about how social media pertains to our mental health. It was interesting that SWR for the 4, you kind of summarised it as being a 50-50, which is a bit in the balance for a 4 for my liking. If you were to really be for social media, or if you accept against it that it's here for good, what must we do and what should we be advocating for to ensure that social media becomes something that's more positive for our mental health?
Could you repeat the last bit of the question, please? Sorry.
So, how ought social media adapt or evolve to be better for our mental health?
In my opinion, I think that it needs to be accepted by society as a more normalised thing, as it has become like a thing of hate, but we all still use it. So we need to accept that it is going to stay here for good, and that we need to, instead of saying how bad it is, we need to focus on how we can make it better. So instead of teaching outdated things in school, focus a lot of curriculum on the safety of it and how we can get new technology to see how we can keep those, like you said earlier, how we can keep those creeps and people who aren't who they are out of it, because it is quite easy to bypass it. So we need to focus our energy more on that instead of saying how bad it is right now.
My apologies, I was too busy writing notes. Could you please repeat the question? Thank you.
Remember it. So, how might social media be evolved to see that it becomes better for our mental health?
It could be evolved by putting more privacy settings, because the privacy settings are in no way safe enough or strong enough, because, like we've said, you could easily break through them because of things like algorithm, and the coding is quite easy to break through. You could also have more control over people's accounts, because they do create things like high beauty standards, which can be impossible to complete, and which makes people much more insecure, which then damages their mental health. And then possibly set timers, because if you spend too much time on social media, it can cause brain disorders like ADHD, and it can also, some things on there can also cause suicidal thoughts, depression, anxiety, self-harm, poor academic performances, and so many others. And then filters are also a big thing. So you could try and narrow down the amount of filters you could use, because that also has a relationship with the high beauty standards. And then you could just create more filters for the safety of things, not that people could use to make themselves look better, to make their lives look better, which then causes insecurities about their looks, personality traits, and just their life in general. And at the end of the day, I don't think there are enough privacy settings at all to make social media better. So if you could add more, many more privacy settings to make sure that things...
It's already on. Okay, we need to give the judges a lot to deliberate on and to think about. Can I just have another round of applause for our amazing debate team? You guys are free to step and return to your seats. Do you guys want to return to your seats? Okay, I think that has been such a fantastic showcase of all things both spoken and read, really thoughtful debates just then. And we're going to take a moment now, though, to really congratulate those who have just taken part in the event throughout the day. So I'm actually going to invite the teachers from each of the schools to come up onto the stage one by one to hand out certificates to those who have taken part throughout the day, because I think everybody should and deserves to walk away with something from today. So I'm going to start with Braden Forrest, and I'm going to ask Mr. Gilson, Tim, to come up onto the stage to shake the hands and give these certificates to each of the students. So, Mr. Miley Cridge, can you come up onto the stage, please?
Hello, there we go. Okay, do you want to take the certificates? So we have been trying really hard to make sure that every single person that has participated has a certificate. If for whatever reason you do not have one, don't worry, you will get one, okay? So, can I please ask you to come up to the stage one by one? Isabel Cooper-Seaman. Freya Crump. Tilly Smith. Isla Cooper. Freya Crump again. Layla Hines. Lee Marvell, who's gone home because she wasn't feeling very well. Daniel Madison, who has also gone home because he was very tired. James Gray, who's also gone home because he was feeling very tired. But we've got someone who's here, Jenny Travers. Louise Adams gone home, she was really tired. That's for Emily. Ali Orchard! And last but certainly not least, for a second time, Izzy Cooper-Seaman! One big round of applause for Braden Forrest!
Right. Is this on? There we go. A big, massive well done to everyone from the Dean Academy today. You've really done the school proud, so you should be really proud of yourselves as well. So, if I could ask for the following people to come up. Phoebe Adams. Ryan Easterbrook Copeland. Kira Price. Maya Milcharek. Tegan Green. Travis Marfell. Alfie Blake. Gracie Riley. Abigail Wilson. Poppy Moffat. Rhea Phillips. Joe Shipsides. Elijah Davies. Zoshi Barnes. Dylan Addison. Amy Blewett. And finally, Martin Coates. We forgot someone very important. Kai. Don't forget Kai. Come on, Kai.
Okay, next up, shall we have Tipping Sodbury? Tipping Sodbury to the stage.
Hello? Ooh. Yeah, okay. I just wanted to say really quickly to my two debate teams, Year 7 girls coming to a strange school, debating against older students, I think that's amazing. Year 8 boys, I heard the word tenacious, I heard the word fierce. Well done, thanks very much for that. So firstly, Lucy Davis. Charlotte Davis. And Sophie Brady. And Lila Jones. And Theo Westcott. And Mitchell Reese. Liam Sims. And Jack Toogood. And Eli Phelan.
Well done to recovery. Can I ask for all of the students for Sir William Romney to come and stand over here so they're ready to go on stage when their names are called? And can I have Miss Caroline Evely ready to hand out the awards?
Yeah, we are equally, as I think we all are, very super proud of our students. They've given up a lot of their time for this event. And I think we were just saying that I think we all feel that they might be very important people when they're a bit older, because I think they're doing things up here that I know a lot of adults in the room perhaps couldn't have done when they were their age. So we are incredibly proud of all of you, so well done. But our students will have our certificates given out, so we'll call your name. So Mason Hinkinbottom, up you come. Edie Layfield. Jack May. Gaia. Lily. George Miles. Elijah. Cassie Miles. Bryony. Gemma. Becca. Liz. Holly. And B, we have your certificate. Brilliant. Well done, Sir William Romneys. Very proud of you.
Okay, can the Malmesbury lot come and stand over here so you're ready to go onto the stage? So, I mean, as with all the other teachers, just super, super proud of this really brave and courageous and incredible bunch. Can I have Lucy? Lucy Horlick. Nathan Selwood. Sophia Bond. A lot of these have entered into multiple things. Connie Adley. Ava Garcia. Oh, Lucy Horlick again. Henry Delang. That's gone home. Bella Hamilton. Annabelle Day. Brady Scraggs. And it runs in the family, And last but not least, Alice Cole. We have here somewhere. Now the moment we have been waiting for. We are going to announce the finalists and the winner. I'm going to hand over to, I'm looking at Michelle Kilburn-Bond, I'm going to hand over to Michelle Kilburn-Bond and she will take it from here.
Can I actually ask all the judges to join me on the stage? Is that okay? Is it on? Okay. Thank you for your patience. It's really easy to see just from how long this has taken, how as much as we wanted every single student to actually get the chance to perform, we would have been here for a whole weekend doing a weekend festival, I think, rather than just this short time. So thank you very much. We're now going to reveal the winners. So the judges, who've been amazing, because it's been the hardest thing I think I've ever been involved in to decide, are going to award a certificate. They will announce the winner for the category they've looked after, and you will all get a certificate saying whether you're the winner or a finalist, but it gets even more exciting than that. You will also get a medal that you can take home and pin up in your bedroom, and if you are lucky enough to be one of the winners of the category, then you will get a trophy. Now, the trophy isn't for you to take home and put in your bedroom, I'm afraid. The trophy is for your teachers to very proudly display in their school, okay? So you will get the trophy now and you can have your photos taken with it, but I'm afraid it then goes to your teacher who will be taking it, and you will see it every day you're in school. I'm sure all your schools have got a trophy cabinet or something somewhere. So we will try and make this as slick as we can. Who would like to go first?
So this is for the winner, but of course everyone who is a finalist, you must come up and get your medal. So this is for the dramatic reading, and the winner of the dramatic reading is Alice Cole. Well done, Alice. But also getting medals, of course, the other brilliant finalists, Edie, and Kai and Bertie, if you could all come up and get your...
Competition has been won by Nathan Selwood. And the finalists, Ellie Fellon and Sophia Bond.
Okay, next up, the finalists for the poetry section. But before that, a couple of mentions. One is just thanks for a wonderful evening. The standard's been really high. It's been very entertaining. And I've learned a lot, even about bread, Sophia. So thanks so much for that. And also, as someone who went to Chipping Sodbury School for what felt like most of my childhood, great to see Sodbury School here too. Yay. Go Sodbury. Okay, so the winner of the poetry recital, and not only the winner, but we as judges added up scores in all sorts of different categories under your section, and this was the winner here had the highest score of any of the talks and presentations that we saw. Isabella. Congratulations. And also finalists, Freya and Lucy. Congratulations.
debate was so hard that actually telling the truth to say that 2 judges fell on one side and 2 judges fell on the other. You couldn't write this, so we were having a really kind of quiet debate about what we were going to do because you were all so impressive for many different reasons. But we thought, let's go back to the scores, and we added them up, and it did bring us a winner. And we think that it's fair to say that one of the things that meant that they ended up with just a couple more points was because of we could see the teamwork that was happening behind the scenes. So, our winning team for the debate, I feel this is going to be a controversial one, is Braden we absolutely need our other team up on the stage because they were also incredibly impressive, and we've all got a lot to worry about when these people are in charge in the future. So come on up to the stage, this is William Romney's team.
Okay, well done, guys. You can return to your seats victorious. I don't want to keep you here too much longer, but we can't finish this event with just a few thank yous. And I've lost my clicker, always the way. Bear with me. There are so many thank yous to give, obviously to the teachers who made this all possible. There's Milo, there's Leanne, there's Caroline, there's Rob, and as you can tell, Michelle's good, she's put herself on there. She made this slide, and I was worried that she hadn't thanked herself. But of course, there's also behind the scenes, we've got the wonderful Hugh, we've got Henry, who I must add is one of our Year 12 students who stepped in last minute, and I'm just so grateful to him. And of course, we've got Ruth McQuaid, who have all worked tirelessly behind the scenes. Can we have a round of applause for them? Of course, none of this is possible without our wonderful, fantastic judges. So, Mark Cummings, thank you so much. We've got a little Sophie Scruton. Tom Herbert. And of course, I need to be the one to give you yours, Michelle Kilburn-Bond. As usual, Susie Pincot's been very modest. She needs the biggest round of applause ever because this has all been her idea, her inspiration, and she has coordinated all 5 schools, which is not an easy job, trying to get everybody in the same place at the same time, and has just been hugely passionate about this event. So it's been an absolute privilege to support her in doing it, and we are really excited about continuing the tradition next year. So Susie, you're an absolute superstar. Thank you so much, and I have some flowers. Give me the final word. My final words, and I will let you all leave in a second, is I did this when I was at school. This is why I started it up, and I remember it's still a core memory of mine, and I hope that it will continue to be a core memory for students for years and years to come. We already have discussions of who is hosting next. Thank you so much for all of your attendance and cooperation and patience. Thank you.